Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. This is Terry, your host. Hey, I wanted to do a quick video. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's a truck driver, and he said, "Hey, you should see this video that was put out about GP Transco." And I haven't really ever addressed any of this stuff, not actually because I didn't necessarily think I needed to, but you know, my mind has changed about it. So there seems to be a few YouTube channels almost dedicated to bashing on GP Transco. And, you know, I've done some videos saying what my experience is like or has been like at GP Transco and what I like about the company. And, you know, what I will say is that every company has some things you might not like. That's certainly true with me. There are a couple of things that and I've even said stuff to people. I've been like, hey, could we do this differently? So, you know, that's the premise of this, is that not everybody's going to like it. But, you know, here's the thing, right? Like, GP Transco has, I don't know, a few hundred drivers, and I don't even know how many, but I think it's around, based on what I see on the fuel reports, I think it's around 300 to 400 drivers, 300 to 400 active trucks, which I know they have some teams, so that could be a few more people. So I don't really think GP is a mega carrier, but whatever. I don't know what the definition of a mega carrier is. I mean, I was at Night's like 4 or 5 times the size of GP Transco, so maybe they're a mega carrier. I don't know, but here's the point. Like, there's one semi video, I guess it's more audio, of a guy who went just through indoctrination, and you know, he didn't like the truck he was assigned, which was, even that part was kind of interesting to me, because there were 4 people in my orientation class. Each one of us was taken out into the yard at the terminal and basically picked out whatever truck we wanted. There's a guy from my class that Hillbilly Tarzan is his channel, and he picked a Volvo because he just was comfortable with Volvos. His truck was older. My truck's a 2021 Freightliner. I've talked about it before, but I got it. It had like 16,000 miles on it. Like, somebody had it before me. But, you know, I really didn't think that was that big of a thing. But I heard some stuff on this guy's audio that does kind of bother me. First, he said the company was run by Russians. Well, you know, first of all, you know, I don't think that's necessary. It's not true. And I'll get to why that's not true in a second. But, and then he said you would have to deal with Ukrainians. And, you know, he said the Russians and the Middle Easterners are taking over trucking. Well, you know, it's a free market economy, right? Like, nobody's taking over anything unless they work at it. So whether or not that's true, I don't know, but what I'm guessing is that pretty much anybody that wants to have a trucking company in America can. But then he said, you know, he started talking about Ukrainians, and that if you had a problem on the road at night, you'd be talking to somebody, you know, overseas, and you know, if you could even understand them, and you know, if you had a breakdown, you'd be fucked, and all this. You know, first of all, there are a number of people that work for the company that are Lithuanian, okay? And if you don't know that there's a difference between Russians, Ukrainians, and Lithuanians, then you're already starting out at a deficit. If you read up on any history of Eastern Europe, you will learn about the differences and about why, for instance, anybody that's a Ukrainian is probably not going to be all that happy about being called a Russian. Just some history there. And in fact, Ukrainian and Russian aren't the same language. Lithuanian and Russian are definitely not the same language. Ukrainians can understand Russian, but what I'm saying is that you're comparing apples and oranges. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is my DM, okay, well, let me back up to night dispatch. When I call night dispatch, I don't necessarily know where they are, except every once in a while somebody will just mention that they're in Carson, California. Now, this is called Tim Travels, and I can assure you that my vast knowledge of geography tells me that Carson, California is not in Eastern Europe. It turns out it's in California, part of the United States. And maybe I'm talking to a guy that has a slight accent, but I assure you that his English is better than a lot of people whose native tongue is English. Trust me on that. My DM is in the Vilnius area. Vilnius is the capital of Lithuania. And he basically works 7 Eastern to 3 Eastern. So like 6, or excuse me, he works 7 Eastern to 5 Eastern. So at 4 Central Time, he's done for the day, and then I would have to call night dispatch. But he speaks really good English, and he speaks better English than I speak Lithuanian. And every once in a while, I will say something to him, either, when I text him or we're talking on the phone, and I ask him if he understands what I mean. And he's always honest if he doesn't understand the meaning of a phrase, and I explain it to him. So there's not too much that I have to explain to him. He is really good, and he's my second DM from Lithuania, both of whom speak great English. I have a friend who's an anesthesiologist in this country who's from Lithuania. He moved over here when he was 12. He still has an accent, but guess what? He's a doctor, and his English is really good. So if that's your objection to this company, then, I don't know what to say to you. You got issues, okay? And I can't fix them. So that's that. The other thing is that this company, like some people have said on YouTube, I've never been tricked out of anything or not received anything that I was told I was going to get. I make more at this company than any other company I've driven for. Also, I've heard people talking about, they just do a bunch of short runs. Here's the thing. When, if you drive 500 miles a day, and I don't know if that's considered a short run, maybe it is by some people, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the week, if I've run 2,800 miles, it doesn't matter if I did 2 1,400-mile trips or I did, 4 700-mile trips. It really doesn't matter to me. Maybe I have a little bit more work because I had to do some dropping hooks, or I had to do some live onloads or offloads or whatever. But that's when I take my breaks anyway. I don't really care, okay? And I can tell you that the highest mileage week I ever had was over 3,400 miles, okay? I don't have an issue with how they're doing dispatch. I definitely don't have an issue on roadside. The people I deal with at night, on the rare occasions when I do deal with them, are pretty helpful. Sometimes they have to put you on hold, but you know what? I worked for a company that was based in Minnesota, and everybody that I talked to was from Minnesota, and they were way less professional than the people at GP Transco. So, short answer is, if you're bashing on GP Transco, fine. I think they can take it. Do they try to protect their reputation? It sounds like they do, and it sounds like people are angry about that. And by the way, if you don't think that bigger companies have marketing people, you're crazy. But let me say this, long before I started putting out videos on YouTube, I was getting good results from working for GP Transco. You know, GP Transco didn't say, oh, well, now that this guy's got a YouTube channel, let's make sure he gets, 3,000 miles a week and he's happy, because that's just not the case. So if you got a problem with a company, like trying to, defend itself, then I don't know what to tell you about that either. You get to say what you want. You have your First Amendment rights, but so do they. So if you got any questions about GP Transco, I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to tell the truth because I think the truth is a good story for them. Does every driver work out with every company? No. But every company has happy drivers. Every company has disgruntled drivers. Right? Some people go through life disgruntled. They don't like anything. They're pissed all the time. Maybe it's because I was in the Navy for 20 plus years and I'm just used to, getting over stuff and just moving on. But in any event, if you got questions, I'm happy to answer them. And let me just say one other thing. You shouldn't judge any company by an individual that you see on YouTube, whether it's good or bad. You should find out for yourself. Do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Don't take a recruiter's word for it. But, know that there's always going to be more press, more pub given to negativity than to positivity. And so, I just share that with you, and stay safe, and we'll catch you next time.